Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Awards Ceremony. We are delighted to welcome members of Senate, our senior management of the university, our Vice-Chancellor, our Deputy Vice-Chancellors, our Registrar, our Executive Directors, our Chief Operating Officers, and everyone who is watching this, which is being streamed live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on our YouTube channel. I would also like to welcome our award winners. Congratulations to all of you, and this event is all about celebrating your achievements. The new normal has prevented us from gathering together to celebrate. We did so virtually last year, and now we are here together in physical presence, and that is, of course, what community and what universities are all about. This evening, we are poised again, almost at the end of 2021, heading into 2022, and today is about celebrating achievements across a wide array of areas. We have teaching excellence, most promising young teacher, we have research excellence, innovation, service beyond the call of duty, and these all celebrate the greatness of our university, and we have gathered today to celebrate these achievements and ensure that we continue in this tradition of recognizing excellence in research, in teaching, and in service. I'd like to now call upon our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Shilitsi Marwala, for the opening.
Good evening, Sanibonani, Dumelang, Molo, Goeienacht. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here tonight for this time-honored tradition. As the first cases of COVID-19 were detected in South Africa, we had little indication that almost 2 years later, we would still be in a lockdown, navigating this so-called new normal. It is certainly encouraging that with vaccine rollouts and the adoption of measures such as physical distancing and the use of masks, that we find ourselves in a rather different setting than just a year ago. Although this threat remains with us, this semblance of normalcy certainly seems hopeful. I have watched in awe as you responded to the fraught context that has defined this period in our collective history. Grappling with a pandemic while navigating the transition to the fourth industrial revolution is indeed uncharted territory, even at the university that prides itself on a constant reimagination of the future. We were no longer talking of potential shifts in the way we teach and learn. We were no longer imagining how to adapt to an increasingly digital age, but we were in the thick of it. It has certainly been extraordinary to see how you have been able to innovate in this time and provide solutions to the plethora of dilemmas the pandemic has brought. Tonight marks a celebration of you. Your resilience, your tenacity, and of course, your ability to reimagine, rethink, and reinvent is what has made the University of Johannesburg one of the best universities in the continent to navigate this COVID-19. It has been a difficult task to narrow down the list this year. So you are here because you are simply the best. You are the best amongst the best. So it was not easy to come up with a list of people that we are going to be honoring today. And to those people who were nominated and they were not selected, it was not because you were not equal to the task. It was because somebody else had to win it this year, and I encourage those who couldn't win it this year to reapply again. So, there's been a tremendous amount of commitment to ensuring that the University of Johannesburg is actually at the forefront of innovation, not only in South Africa or Africa, but globally. The dynamicism of the University of Johannesburg, whether it is on tackling the problems of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, whether it is on linking the academic project to what is happening in society, politics, and in our country. All this, we do them here at the University of Johannesburg with absolute excellence, dedication, resolve, and ultimately with the patriotism that is needed to ultimately take our continent to a developed state, hopefully within the lifetime of many of us here. So in conclusion, I am absolutely excited to celebrate your achievements this evening. I'm not going to mention you by names because we are going to read your bios in detail and celebrate you. But I'm thankful for your commitment to the University of Johannesburg, to your commitment to our vision of reimagining the dynamically changing future that is going to be a post-COVID future with many pandemics to come, with the Fourth Industrial Revolution changing every aspect of our lives. Ngiyabonga, bayadanki, kiyalibuwa, ndiyalibuwa, ndiyabulela. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor, for setting the tone for a wonderful evening. I did omit to say who I am at the beginning. Apologies. I'm Kirti Menon. We now turn to a very important award. It's the Teaching Awards. Universities are premised on teaching. We have more than 50,000 students who are here at the university. We have many who have also passed through our chambers and graduated and have made their impact in the world. And it is about teaching excellence, which is the strategic objective of our university. And I like this motto here, which is creating tomorrow, because that's what our teaching is all about, creating tomorrow. I'd like to now call upon our Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Professor Mpedi, to read out the citations and call up the award winners for Most Promising Young Teacher of the Year, followed by the Award for Teacher Excellence. Professor Mpedi.
Vice-Chancellor, MEC colleagues, ELG colleagues, our guests of honor this evening, those who will be receiving awards, and our guests watching at home, good evening. In the area of teaching and learning, we've got two categories of awards. The first one, as mentioned by the program director, is for the most promising young teacher of the year. There we've got two award recipients, and then this was followed by another category, which is for teacher excellence, and there we've got 3 award recipients. I will start with the most promising young teacher of the year, which comes with a medal, a certificate, and money to the value of 25,000 rands, which is a once-off amount that is paid into the research fund of the award recipients. And in the case of teacher excellence, this comes with a medal, a certificate, and an amount of money of 150,000, which is spread over a 3-year period. 50% of the amount can be encashed, and the balance is transferred into the research account of the award recipient. I thought I should mention that. I was also informed that immediately after this function, the amounts will be transferred into the relevant funds.
Not so immediate.
This shows how efficient the University of Johannesburg is. That said, ladies and gentlemen, I will go back to the task at hand. I'll start with the first category, which is the most promising young teacher of the year. There, as I've indicated, we've got 2 award recipients. I'll start with the first award recipient, and that is Dr. Kobani Kambela. And Dr. Kambela is from the Department of Anthropology at the Faculty of Humanities. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll now read his citation. Today, I felt like a human being. This simple yet profound anthropology student's comment perfectly captures the feelings of someone who has experienced the impact of Dr. Kobani Kambela's extraordinary compassion for his students and his commitment to providing them with a humanizing and healing learning environment which offers a space in which their voices are heard, where they can be vulnerable and learn without fear. Describing himself as a teacher who loves justice, excellence, and learning, Dr. Kambela's emancipatory, transformative teaching philosophy aims to decolonize priorities and practices of his discipline and the university. It is embodied in his life experiences and closely connected to his students' lives, to their desires. Acknowledging their encounters at the university are often unsympathetic, exclusionary, and alienating. Dr. Kambela, as a medical anthropologist, believes that for students to learn, they must heal. This means that full engagement with issues of inequality, trauma, and loss should be courageously and carefully addressed. And he says, and I quote, "We have so little time to process and to grieve for all that has been lost," unquote. In his quest to create a classroom that offers students this time and to facilitate critical consciousness and self-directed learning, students are engaged in animated debate, question and answer sessions, and independent research. Through trauma-informed pedagogy, they are encouraged to reflect on their histories, to challenge dominant colonial belief systems, and importantly, to tell their individual stories as part of the healing process. Dr. Kambela's vision for a transformed university, which has been remade with contemporary African students in mind, has not gone unnoticed. His workbook on anti-racist pedagogy is widely used, and he has been recognized nationally as a person who has this insight and the humility to contribute to university transformation processes. For us, he has emerged as a leading voice in the call for a decolonized institution and someone widely recognized as a teacher who has the humility of his students at heart. Dr. Kambela, thank you for the crucial contribution you are making to our university and for enriching your students' lives with such a profound way. Congratulations on receiving this award. We will continue to learn from you in future and wish you well in all the exciting endeavors to come. I'll now invite Dr. Kambela to come and get this award.
Sorry. Social distancing a little bit.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. Thanks, colleagues. Congratulations once again, Dr. Kambela. The second recipient of the Most Promising Young Teacher of the Year is Dr. Phumlani Msomi from the Department of Chemical Sciences in the Faculty of Science. And I will now read his citation. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard all problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advances. This is what makes a chemistry student differ from other students. Although it is difficult to believe that this comment comes from a chemistry teacher, it is at the heart of Dr. Phumlani Msomi's teaching philosophy. Not many chemistry teachers in South Africa are dynamic and imaginative enough to even begin to consider teaching chemistry as a liberal art. But that is exactly what Dr. Msomi does. Using an approach that is a far cry from traditional chemistry teaching and widely known for his passion and energy, Dr. Msomi believes that to think scientifically in a solution-solving discipline like chemistry, students should be encouraged to be open to new ideas, respect the opinions of others, and develop the ability to generate questions. Most importantly, students should learn to scrutinize and challenge the evidence in flexible and creative ways and remain open to continuous learning. Dr. Msomi's classrooms reflects his innovative approach by offering students an environment that encourages them to think differently. In keeping with his belief that the language of teaching and learning is a second language and mindful of possible language barriers, Dr. Msomi's varied and challenging classroom activities are carried out in a language of the student's choice, which enables them to express new and complex ideas freely. In a world where English generally remains the norm, this is a unique and courageous practice where understanding is gained in the mother tongue and later translated into English. In addition, the inclusion of material based on indigenous knowledge systems bring chemistry closer to the students' lives and experiences. His inclusive and interactive student-centered approach means that the students are at the center. Whether they are in the virtual lab or the classroom, they are always directly involved in creating new knowledge in interesting and collaborative ways, and it is their voice that is heard. There is no question that Dr. Msomi has transformed a difficult subject into one that is accessible and fun for students, and they are the first to recognize this. He has been described as a perfect lecturer who respects his students and is willing to go the extra mile. One student sums up the feeling of many when she says, and I quote, "I didn't think chemistry could be fun, but Dr. Msomi made the module easier and enjoyable," close quotes. Congratulations, Dr. Msomi. Your students are very lucky to be learning alongside you, and we are delightful to be giving you this award. We look forward to following your success in the future. Thank you. I just told Dr. Msomi that I'm definitely coming to his class. We'll now move over to the Teacher Excellence Award, ladies and gentlemen. And as I indicated earlier, there are 3 recipients of this award. And the first recipient of this award is Professor Marita Pritchard from the Department of Strategic Communication at the Faculty of Humanities. I will now read her citation. When Prof. Marita Pritchard becomes as excited as her students when the class trends on Twitter, it is impossible to imagine anyone more equipped to be teaching 21st century students on strategic communication. As an inspired, energetic, and innovative teacher committed to her students' success, Prof. Pritchard brings her discipline to life, offering them challenging and varied learning experiences that, whatever the topic, are always connected to diverse student experiences and interests. Without exception, they allow for both imagination and critical engagement, and for students to be fully engaged in relevant debates, applied projects in community NGOs, media releases, writing blogs, interviewing, and making videos. Professor Pritchard's classroom is a rich and supportive learning environment grounded in a pedagogy of care and characterized by trust, inclusivity, and fun, where humor often serves as a safe catalyst for difficult conversations. Crucially, Professor Pritchard is willing to risk alongside her students as she decolonizes her teaching and opens up frank, often painful discussions. This frequently results in closer personal relationships as she learns with them while they tell their own stories, and she, in turn, shares her personal narratives. Linked to this is her frequent use of role play, during which students can create a safe place from which history can be better understood and where they can imagine future possibilities for their lives and the lives of others. Appreciative student evaluations apologists describe Marita as amazing, awesome, challenging, and always kind, and reveal a teacher who's loved and admired by all, who's recognized as someone deeply responsive to the needs of the 21st century learner, and who lives her commitment to authentic student learning and to building a more socially just society. What stands out is how Marita has taken what she has learned in the classroom and shared it with colleagues in her faculty and the university community. Over the last 5 years, she has inspired her colleagues to use blended learning and a host of apps and social media tools to make online learning engaging. In her faculty, she has become the go-to person on innovation and creativity in teaching and learning. Marita, thank you for all your leadership in teaching and learning. We so appreciate it. Congratulations on this well-deserved award. The excitement you feel about teaching is infectious, and we celebrate with you. We are also looking forward to the next time you trend on Twitter. Vice-Chancellor, I know who to go to brush up my Twitter skills. You've been telling me a lot of times to get on Twitter. Now I know where to go. The second recipient of the Teacher Excellent Award is Professor Shepard Lewis. Professor Lewis is from the Department of Business Management at the College of Business and Economics. I will now read his citation. If we are looking for someone who has made a major impact on teaching and learning at UJ and further afield, we need to look no further than business management's acclaimed Professor Shepard Lewis. Described by his students as absolutely the best, well-informed, and as someone who really knows his stuff, it is clear that he has won their respect, admiration, and trust. When he walks into his classroom, his students are quick to pay attention because they know that they are privileged to work alongside a teacher and scholar who has their best interests at heart and brings a unique depth of experience and insight into their lives. Beyond this, he has gained enthusiastic national and international recognition for his outstanding contribution to the field, most notably his groundbreaking entrepreneurial education model based on experiential learning. As one would expect, Professor Lewis' teaching is grounded in this model, which in turn is closely linked to learning to be. His approach is experiential, apologies, can I get some water? Thank you.
Do you like a glass?
No, it's fine, thanks. Thank you, apologies for that. His approach is experiential, transformational learning, as well as being informed by principles of ecological design. With an eye constantly on the demands of the workplace, his classroom, whether virtual or face-to-face, is always abuzz with activity as students engage and collaborate on a wide range of applied, real-life problem-solving tasks, which include field trips, storytelling, case studies, videos, and debates. The multidisciplinary material is always relevant to the students' lives and learning needs, and here Professor Gliw is remarkable in his ability to adapt to the requirements of discipline as diverse as chemical engineering and homeopathy. Students in homeopathy learn how to establish their own practices, while the engineering students are fully involved in identifying a problem in a local chemical company, finding solutions, writing reports, and making recommendations. Congratulations, Prof. Gliw. We are delighted to be giving you this award and proud to have you as an esteemed member of the UJ community. Thank you for your enormous contribution to our university and beyond. You have gained the respect and admiration of all who know and work with you, and there is no doubt that this can only grow as you follow your transformational teaching path in future. Colleagues, the last of the 3 awards for teacher excellence goes to Professor Habib Nurbai, who's from the Department of Sport and Movement Studies at the Faculty of Health Sciences. And I'll now read his citation. It should come as no surprise that Prof. Habib Nurbai firmly believes that, and I quote, lecture halls don't need tech geeks who can teach, they need teaching geeks who can use tech effectively, unquote. Sounds like from a rap song. That's very profound, because he is an inspiring example of one such talented teaching geek. Over the past few years, focused on fostering an African footprint, and in response to 4IR, Prof. Nurbai has developed a special interest in teaching clinical skills via simulated and video-based learning, which can benefit both staff and students. In the classroom, through a willingness to risk and experiment, he has designed a wide range of innovative, applied tasks that offer students the opportunity to engage in learning activities, which are perfect examples of student-centered, technology-enhanced learning. Human engagement and technology interact and enhance each other. They coexist in balanced and exciting ways, always with the students' interests at heart. There is no doubt that students are intrigued by this. Discussions are enlivened by a linked video, while Blackboard serves as an important repository for the exchange of ideas, and role plays are complemented by digital material. When students debate the extent to which sport is a catalyst for change in South Africa, their conclusions are presented in many digitally enhanced ways. Prof. Nurbai's learning space is infused with the support students need to be courageous and are inspired to be brave in taking risks in their learning process. One of these areas where this is most noticeable is Prof. Nurbai's rare ability to match the development of writing skills with critical thinking and problem solving, so students do not only apply principles to the workplace, but also write about them in interesting ways. Prof. Nurbai's classroom is an exciting, inclusive space based on respect and trust, and which all contributions are valued. Students' comments reflect this, revealing a much-loved teacher, widely recognized for his enthusiastic commitment to his students, Colleagues, and here I quote, just to demonstrate this enthusiasm, one student said, "He is a great teacher. His teaching was completely student-centered, and he always made it clear that he wanted the best for us," unquote. Isn't it touching? We fully agree with your students, Prof. Nurbai. Congratulations on this award. You have every reason to be proud of your achievements, and we look forward to seeing you go from strength to strength in the future.
Congratulations again to all the winners of the awards for Most Promising Young Teacher of the Year, as well as for Teacher Excellence. And we look forward to showcasing your work for the wider UJ community throughout the year. Our next set of awards, of course, goes to another of UJ's strategic objectives, which is the pursuit of research excellence. Our university has been scaling the heights, but our research remains grounded, and it remains clearly in quest of solutions to the world's problems and in pursuit of a developmental agenda. I now call upon Professor Saurabh Sinha, who is the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Research and Internationalization, to make the awards in the categories of Most Promising Young Teacher of the Year and Outstanding Researcher of the Year, followed by Innovation of the Year, Book of the Year, and Highest Cited Researcher. Thank you, Prof. Sinha.
I should be fine. Good evening, everyone. Vice-Chancellor, Executive Leadership Group, to our award recipients, to their family members who have joined us, and to those who have joined us. I know at least two of the award recipients who are joining us this evening from the UK and from the US, and also the audience who have joined us from all over the world. I was once told that if you're at an important event, you should say that all protocols observed. So all protocols observed. It is my honor to introduce the award recipients for the categories who are in the research and innovation categories, where we have also included a book award, as that is one of the ways that we progress the knowledge contribution. The first award is in the area of Most Promising Young Researcher of the Year award. This award comes with a financial commitment to you as well as to your research, which is a commitment of 250,000 rands. The part of it is for your research, 50%. It's split into by a ratio of 1:1, and the award must be used over a 5-year period. However, if you decide to leave the university, by the way, the award leaves you too, the financial part of it. I want to start by introducing, and the biographies of the individuals I'm introducing today are as dynamic as they are, because the biographies that is published has, in fact, in some cases, is already outdated. I will start with Professor Olwa Femi Adebo. By the way, when he was nominated, he was a doctor. That was some months ago, and he was recently promoted to associate professor. Further, he is also an NRF award recipient, something we did not know at the time we were considering his submission, this particular submission. So this is a double congratulations. But the most important for this evening's occasion is the Vice-Chancellor's Award. The Vice-Chancellor's Award is granted, and I will read his biography as committed by Professor Marwala, our Vice-Chancellor. Professor Olwa Femi Adebo, who is an associate professor in the Department of Biotechnology and Food Technology within the Faculty of Science. He leads the Food Innovation Research Group, which consists of postgraduate students and postdoctoral research fellows. The research group is involved in research and innovation that improves various traditional food processes, food product development, and value addition using conventional, novel, and fourth industrial revolution approaches, including predictive optimization, pattern recognition of food metabolites, and three-dimensional, that is 3D printing of foods, as well as other innovative solutions to address food insecurity. Since his employment at the University of Johannesburg in 2018, Professor Adebo has attracted over 6 million in grants and won numerous awards, including the highly coveted Institute of Food Technology's Emerging Research Leader Award. He was the only recipient from Africa in 2019. As in early October 2021, he has published 64 articles, mainly in high impact factor journals. These journals are listed, so you can follow them from the text, from the program book. He has contributed to 16 book chapters with reputable publishers, about 40 national and international conference presentations, a number of invited talks and keynote presentations, and he recently filed a patent. Professor Adebo is currently the lead editor of a book titled Indigenous Fermented Foods in the Tropics, to be published by Elsevier in 2022. He has a Google Scholar and a Scopus H-index of 18 and 16 respectively. Professor Adebo collaborates both locally and internationally and remains passionate about food security in the continent and beyond. He is also a regular volunteer for activities that promote food science and technology, and an active member of different professional organizations. With that, let me call Professor Adebo to the front. And you know, after this, we have some food for thought, or thought for food. And you know that some of it might be 3D printed. Our next award recipient. First, let me introduce the award. It is the Outstanding Researcher of the Year award. This award has a financial commitment to the research as well as to the individual of R500,000. The award is given over a 5-year period. And remember, the deal is very much the same as the previous one. You leave, the award leaves you at least the monetary component. We give you the certificate, though. This award, and I know that Professor Deborah Mayer, who is here from the Faculty of Science, is very pleased this evening, as both of these awards thus far have been from the Faculty of Science. Professor Omatayo Arutiba. Faculty of Science, Professor Arutiba joined UJ as a senior lecturer in 2011. He joined the Department of Chemistry, now the Department of Chemical Sciences, and over the years he has distinguished himself as an excellent researcher, supervisor, and mentor. He is well recognized nationally and internationally as a leader in his research field, particularly as an electrochemist. Nationally, Professor Arutiba is the chairperson of the Electrochemistry Division of the South African Chemical Institute called ElectroChemSA. Internationally, he is a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry in the United Kingdom. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Chemical Society. He has been a guest editor to leading journals in his field, and he is on the editorial board of 3 journals of international repute. Furthermore, Professor Arutiba has been an invited speaker and a keynote speaker at international conferences, such as the annual meetings of the International Society of Electrochemistry, which is the highest summit of electrochemists globally. Some of his achievements in the last 5 years are: he has published 126 articles since 2008 in high-impact journals of international repute. He has graduated 13 PhDs and 18 masters, 15 with distinction. He is the current chairperson of ElectroChemSA, as I have mentioned, the Electrochemistry Division of the South African Chemical Institute. He has a Google Scholar H-index of 33 and a citation count of 4,200 and a Scopus H-index of 30 with a citation count of 3,365. That is as in October 2021. He has been a full professor at the University of Johannesburg since October 2016. He is the director of the Center for Nanomaterials Science Research. He has been a journal guest editor of the Electrocatalysis, Electroanalysis and Catalysts Journal of MDPI. He is on the editorial board. He's an editorial board member of the Micro and Nanosensor Specialty section of Frontiers in Sensors. Professor Arutiba has been to leading universities globally as a visiting professor. In June 2019, he was visiting professor at Tohoku University in Japan under the Tohoku University Competitive Special Intervention Program. The University of Johannesburg also has a collaboration agreement with Tohoku University. He has attracted funding in the millions of rands to UJ and has built a world-class electrochemistry lab research group from an empty store in just a few years. Let me take the opportunity to invite Professor Arutiba for this award, and of course the Vice-Chancellor. Thank you.
Professor Arutiba.
Our next award is the other part of research innovation, as you know, that do connect. It is the Innovation of the Year award, and this particular award comes with a grant amount also of 500,000 rands, and it is a grant that is given over a, goodness, now I'm forgetting, is it a 3 or a 5 year period? I think it's a 5-year period. The longer the better, because of the deal I mentioned earlier. This particular award is to Professor Talita Raylink, who is in the School of Economics in the College of Business and Economics. I see Professor van Lille is smiling behind Professor Talita Raylink. The award is to a project titled An Innovative Measure of Real-Time Subjective Well-Being, the Gross National Happiness GNH Today Project. Today project. Policymakers across the globe aim to maximize the well-being of citizens, a multidimensional construct of social relationships, economic activity, health, education, safety, and the environment. Traditionally, the well-being of a nation was singularly measured by gross national income, which provides an economic dimension. However, it neglects other dimensions of human well-being. This becomes evident in the arguments of renowned well-being researchers and a couple that Professor Raylink has been working with, as listed. Recent research on evaluative well-being posits that human perceptions of the quality of their lives can accurately measure individuals' well-being. Aggregating individuals' perceptions of well-being within a country provides a robust measure of the country's overall well-being. Evaluative well-being is now widely accepted as a robust well-being measure and stated in global reports such as the World Happiness Report. However, these reports are based on survey data which is costly and not timeous and would only be available a year after the survey, and it captures well-being at only one point in time. The fact is that the evaluative well-being of a nation changes momentarily, affected by political, social, or economic events. Therefore, the need to monitor evaluative well-being at a high hourly frequency in real time to enable policymakers to respond to changes and communicate inspiring solutions to societal challenges. You will automatically notice that the real-time component is one that aligns with our aspiration and implementation of technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. Policymakers had no access to high-frequency, accurate real-time data on well-being, but the innovative gross national happiness .today index constructed by using 4IR techniques and big data addresses this gap. The index is constructed by extracting tweets from Twitter at real time, analyzing the sentiment of the tweets, applying a balancing algorithm to derive time series data. By the way, I'm already seeing some collaboration taking place between Professor Pritchard and Professor Raylink on the gross national happiness of our students. GNH.Today projects has now garnered international interest and extended to include 8 European countries. Researchers from different parts of Europe and New Zealand have adopted the data and published journal articles. The German Institute for Economic Research collaborates using the German South African time series data. The University of Al-Qawain in Morocco collaborates to develop a GNH.Today index for Morocco. Furthermore, New Zealand's Statistical Service has adopted the measure as an official economic measure. There are a number of other significant areas of innovation which is noted in the booklet or the brochure that you have seen. I will not go through all of them, but I will take this opportunity to invite Professor Raylink and the Vice-Chancellor. award recipient is joining us virtually from the United Kingdom. The Book of the Year Award. Professor Alex Broadbent, who served as the director of the Institute for the Future of Knowledge in the Faculty of Humanities. In fact, I should acknowledge that we received almost all of the submissions from humanities, so it was very competitive, and therefore Professor Naidu behind her mask is most likely smiling. Professor Alex Broadbent is a professor of philosophy of science and a director of the Center for Humanities Engaging Science and Society at Durham University, and is now a visiting professor at the University of Johannesburg. Until recently, he was founding director of the Institute for the Future of Knowledge and professor of philosophy at the University of Johannesburg, prior to which he was the executive dean of humanities. He is also an associate member of Millennium Chambers in London. He specializes in prediction, causal inference, and explanation, especially in epidemiology and medicine. He publishes in major journals in philosophy, epidemiology, medicine, and law, and his books, including The Philosophy of Epidemiology, which was published by Palgrave 2013. By the way, it was also one of the first texts that enabled this as a discipline. And Philosophy of Medicine, published by Oxford University Press. He was a report writer for the United Nations COVID-19 Rapid Needs Assessment. For South Africa, he writes opinion pieces on health and education matters and is regularly interviewed on television and radio, and was UJ's most read contributor to The Conversation in 2020 with 470,000 reads. Philosophy of Medicine probes two critical areas about medicine. What is it, and what should we think of it? The philosophy of medicine derives from developments in the philosophy of science, especially dealing with epistemology, placing it in a unique position to make valuable contributions that are medically useful. Professor Broadbent's book locates these developments in the larger framework, proposing a novel theory of the nature of medicine, clarifying both its purpose and its meaning. It suggests appropriate attitudes to medicine as a whole and explores debates between competing medical traditions. In addition, it provides an overview of contemporary and the historical medical traditions advocating decolonization of medicine and non-Western medical traditions. A reviewer once commented, philosophy of medicine presents, for the most part, a fascinating and compelling discussion that brings to light an exciting area in the philosophy of science. As such, the book is an excellent starting point for anyone wishing to explore the rapidly growing literature on this remarkable subject. You may think that I forgot to talk about the award amount and about it leaving you and things like that in this case, because in this case I do want to acknowledge to Professor Broadbent, who I know that you are watching. We communicated earlier today. Professor Broadbent donates his the monetary component of his award, which is in this case 80,000 rands. By the way, I'm not trying to put any pressure on any of you here, but Professor Broadbent, thank you very much for contributing that, and I know that he's looking to establish a further scholarship out of some of his research funds. It is something, Professor Broadbent, that we greatly appreciate for our students, and thank you once again. Our next award recipient, who is joining us from the US and is a distinguished visiting professor at the Laser Research Center at the Faculty of Health Sciences. I know that Professor Khan, who is the dean, is very happy and very proud about this moment, Professor Hamblin, because through you, we attain a major spot on the Clarivate Analytics list. We love this list at the University of Johannesburg, and this is an important recognition not only for you, but for us as a university. Professor Michael Hamblin is a world-renowned scholar in the field of photodynamic therapy and photobiomodulation, referring to the use of visible and infrared light in healing practices. Professor Hamblin was the principal investigator at the Wellman Center for Photomedicine at Massachusetts General Hospital, a professor of dermatology at the Harvard Medical School, and associated with the Harvard MIT Division of Health Science and Technology. Throughout his illustrious career, he has received research grants from, among others, the National Institute of Health. His key association, as I mentioned earlier, is with the Laser Research Center, where Professor Heidi Abramser is the director and is a key collaborator with you, and we appreciate that, Professor Hamblin. Professor Hamblin has co-authored and authored more than 1,000 publications, including books and book chapters, and has a Scopus H index of 104 with over 45,000 citations. Some of his work on the application of light to stimulate healing remains the definitive reference in medicine. It is not surprising that Professor Hamblin is included by Clarivate Analytics as one of the highly cited researchers for 2022 in the broad field of pharmacology and toxicology. Professor Hamblin has been a distinguished visiting professor with the Laser Research Center for some years, where he makes a significant contribution to research projects, including stem cell differentiation using photomodulation with a high autologous grafts for regenerative medicine, as well as photodynamic therapy for cancer diagnosis and treatment. This particular award has a once-off financial commitment to you and your research group to the tune of 150,000 rands. So, Professor Hamblin, I know you're watching this while in the US. We organized this event partly in an evening, also for the time convenience, and we really want to congratulate you and hope that you remain on this list, and you remain on this list with us. So that actually brings me to the end of the research awards, and perhaps I should also acknowledge the research awards. The rand amounts are funded through an external grant, which is coordinated through Professor Bettine van Vuren, our Senior Director for Strategic Initiatives and Administration. So I just want to also acknowledge the sponsors for these awards. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, everyone. We're now coming to the last award of the evening, and universities tick, and we tick 365 days of the year, 24 hours, and this is an important award. It is an award for service beyond the normal call of duty. In order to read out the citation and call upon our winner, I now call upon our registrar, Professor Kinta Berger. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, colleagues, guests here, awardees, and also those colleagues that are joining us virtually. Good evening, Sanibonani, Dumelang, goeienaand. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce tonight's awardee. And before I do that, I just want to say the value of this award is 100,000 in the pocket, no strings attached. So it is something to look forward to. Colleagues, yes, our winner for this evening is then Martin Marubini Silutani. Mr. Silutani was born in Mushiru village in Venda, Limpopo. He is currently the Director of Logistics at the University of Johannesburg and a member of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, South Africa, and also a member of the South African Transport Forum. He has served as stakeholder for the Johannesburg Inner City Transport Master Plan 2025 group and has worked for some of South Africa's top transport and logistics companies. Shortly after his appointment at UJ in March 2020, Mr. Silutani implemented a high-tech transport management system, which focuses on mitigating the risks regarding vehicle and fuel management. During the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, UJ was inundated with requests for the transportation of persons possibly infected with COVID-19. Mr. Silutani initiated the initiative to convert 4 of the UJ vehicles to transport such persons to hospitals, quarantine facilities or testing stations. The vehicles were fitted with the required standards within a very short period and transported more than 50 such potentially infected persons. During COVID-19 lockdown level 5, Mr. Silutani negotiated payment relief with the bus service provider and as a result saved 8.2 million for the university in 2020. And recently, when the logistics division was faced with vehicle hijackings, he implemented the second tracker unit on all UJ fleet assets to prevent hijackers from being able to strip the tracker. This intervention resulted in the speedy recovery of hijacked vehicles here at UJ. Mr. Silutani is currently initiating a process for cost savings in overtime in the logistics division. He is also leading the development of an app for the users of the inter-campus bus service to allow the bus service provider to communicate late bus arrivals to our students. He's driving a proposal for an electric bus concept to improve the sustainability of the university in terms of transport and fossil fuel usage. He has earned the respect, appreciation and admiration from colleagues at UJ due to his loyalty and great sense of commitment. Mr. Martin Marubini Silutani, we thank you for being an exemplar of what it means to provide service to the institution that goes far beyond the normal call of duty. Thank you very much. Well done.
And now to offer some closing remarks, can I please call upon the Vice-Chancellor?
Thank you very much, Guilty, for that superb direction of our program. I also would like to thank all members of the ELG and their support staff who are here today, and most importantly, the people whom we are here for. Of course, it has, as I've already said before, it has been a challenging period for all of us. Of course, because of COVID-19, we have experienced losses, anguish, anxiety, and often a sense of foreboding. Even as the world now begins to open up again, we live with this threat and uneasiness that there is going to be a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and God knows how many more waves that we are going to experience. Yet, despite our seemingly insurmountable context, this evening is an exemplification of your resilience and tenacity. It is a time-honored tradition for us to come together to celebrate our staff and faculty who have made great strides in teaching, research, innovation, and in critical support functions. As a university, we strive for excellence, and awards that have been handed out tonight are a testament to your role in making that excellence a reality. Though we still find ourselves in a strange setting, still fighting an invisible and relatively unknown but dangerous threat, and we are still gripped with a sense of uncertainty, we cannot ignore how far you have all taken us. The vaccine rollout, although slow, has allowed us to return to work and see familiar faces, although in masked ways. When I was a young man, one of my favorite movies was a movie called Enter the Ninja. And many of us, I can see Camila, you all look like ninjas. But not dangerous ninjas. Ninjas who work hard to make the University of Johannesburg a university of choice, dynamically shaping the future. Alongside the pandemic as the university, we have shifted our focus to the fourth industrial revolution. So this has been a strategy we have pursued for some years now. We were really well placed, as I've already indicated, to deal with the issues that have confronted us. So, despite all this, despite the pandemics, despite us walking almost all covered in our faces, it is encouraging to see Dr. Nurbai Kambela's transformative teaching philosophy, which aims to decolonize priorities and practices of his discipline and the university. Dr. Phumlani Msomi's innovative approach to teaching and his focus on the creation of an all-inclusive environment. Professor Marita Pritchard's ability to bring her discipline to life through new and exciting teaching experiences. Professor Shepard Gliw's exciting and groundbreaking entrepreneurial education model based on experiential learning. Professor Habib Nurbai's commitment to the fourth industrial revolution as a tool and his focus on simulated and video-based learning. Professor Olwa Femi Adebo's novel 4R approaches that are redefining food technology, and Professor Omotayo Arotiba's formidable research profile in chemical sciences. Elsewhere, I have been excited about Professor Talita Raylink's innovative measure of real-time subjective well-being through the Gross National Happiness Today project. Professor Alex Broadbent's pertinent work on the philosophy of medicine, particularly in the light of this deadly pandemic that confront us. Professor Michael Hamblin's commitment to research, most recently on stem cell differentiation using photobiomodulation and photodynamic therapy for cancer diagnosis and treatment. And finally, in a matter that shows that it is not just in the area of teaching, learning, research and innovation that we have seen excellence, Mr. Martin Marubini Silutani. I need to declare that this man, I don't know this man, he does not come from my village, you know? Because I could see Professor, Professor Sorab, when your name was announced, he was looking at me as if you come from my village. I don't even know where your village is. But his implementation of high-tech transport management system, which focuses on mitigating the risks regarding vehicle and fuel management. These are dynamic things that are happening here at the University of Johannesburg. So at UJ, we pride ourselves on a culture of constantly reimagining, rethinking, and reinventing. And you are an exemplification of that. You are a living embodiment of that mission of the University of Johannesburg. This is the spirit you have embodied as we have tackled digital transformation and now the shift to remote learning and teaching, and ultimately to blended learning as a matter of culture rather than exception. Well done to all of you. It is thanks to you that UJ is actively leading in the transformation of our society, moving from superstitious thinking to scientific thinking, navigating the fourth industrial revolution with excellence, and that University of Johannesburg is widely regarded as a role model for the universities in the continent and in general the universities in the globe. I leave you with the incisive words of Gary Hamel, who once said, and I quote, "Innovation is the only insurance against irrelevance," close quote. You continue to embody innovation. Please give yourself a warm round of applause, and I think we can stand up. You don't have to stand up because you are being applauded. Those of us who are here to support must stand up and applaud them. Siyabonga kakhulu. Siyabulela. Baya danki. Riyadibuwa.
The Vice-Chancellor is always a tough act to follow. But just looking at applause and clapping, believe me, it is true, there is a history of applause and clapping. And what is very intriguing in this history of applause and clapping is that it wasn't about appreciation of anyone, but it was to signal a sense of belonging. And I think that that is so important, because we are so proudly the University of Johannesburg, and we have celebrated achievements that are beyond excellence. So thank you very much for this evening. Thank you everyone for attending. A few special thank yous to the events department, to strategic communications for all the support, our audiovisual team that has been working on this, our events team, pleasure, my own staff from our division, Megan Stradham, thank you very much for making this event a success. And I'd like to leave you this evening with an invitation to join us for, I think it's light refreshments, but please do join us for light refreshments, a little bit of human interaction, bearing in mind that we are still practicing safety measures, and a safe ride home. And thank you again.